My phone is my bank.
Sampat Mobile Banking. Convenient, easy, saves time. Sampat Bank, we present your future.
Very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News. You're with Newsfirst, your #1 news provider. I'm Sandhu Ferdinando.
And I'm Amina Mustafa. Let's start off with a look at the headlines for tonight.
Payments to Golden Key depositors commences. Special commission to investigate transactions. Janaka Bandar resigns from ministerial position. Two of Veerakumar Disanayaka's supporters who transported posters in a vehicle bearing an army number plate arrested. Strong statements from the heating political arena.
The government today began the disbursement of payment to the Golden Key deposit holders. The event was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The initial disbursement of deposits to Golden Key depositors took place today at the BMICH. A group of depositors who were severely inconvenienced by the fall of Golden Key obtained the payments today.
The government is responsible for the financial policies and financial management of the public and private sector. Did we know that a flaw in the financial management of the previous government led to the fall of the Golden Key Company? We hope to appoint a special investigation commission headed by a retired judge on the Golden Key Company. The commission will investigate the way the company was destroyed and how the transactions had happened. After that, it will submit the findings and recommendations. Legal action will be taken against those who try to divide the assets of the company among themselves improperly. The central bank must have been aware that the deposits were being misused. There is a separate division for that. They did not carry out their duties and the company went bankrupt. They did not even go for a solution even at that time. I remember we raised questions in this regard. Though it was said that solutions will be provided, it did not happen. Today they speak of certain deals, but do they ever speak of the 990 billion hedging deal? Today Ajit Niwad Cabral makes various statements. These banks were paid 330 billion rupees from your taxes. Do they speak of this? 2,000 million rupees was lost from the Greek bonds. Do they speak of this?
Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena attended the annual prize giving of Bandaranaike College, Gampaha this morning. The President was accorded a guard of honour by the college cadets. The President placed flowers at the Buddha statue of the school and also made floral tributes to the War Heroes Memorial at the school. Subsequently, the President presented awards to students who performed exceptionally well in the commerce, science and maths streams. Speaking at the event, President Sirisena said that students who leave the university in the future will not be allowed to demonstrate seeking employment opportunities. The President also emphasized on the amendments that need to take place in the education sector.
The Treasury bond issue of the Central Bank, which was at the center of much controversy, was once again the topic in the political sphere today.
Several months ago, the Prime Minister said that he will address the nation. He spoke of the innocence of the Governor of the Central Bank, Arjuna Mahendran. Several days ago, the Deputy Minister of Justice obtained an enjoining order from the District Court preventing the publication of the COPE report. This means that those who said that they will nab the rogues in the country are now attempting to conceal everything connected to the incident that has led to much controversy in the country. That is why I say that there are jokers in this governance. We have grabbed them by their necks. They have been caught red-handed. Take a look at the report. Ranil Wickremesinghe is connected to this theft. He is directly involved. This bond auction took place under the instructions of Ranil Wickremesinghe. It has been limited and made public and later increased by tenfold so that the interest rate also increased. They made a profit and directed that to the fund of the UNP. That is what we can assume. If not, what can the treasurer of the UNP do over there? The central bank bond issue was the largest single fraud that took place in the country's history, and with our strength we exposed it to the nation. They obtained enjoining orders from the court to prevent that. This morning that order was dissolved by the courts. Therefore, we now have the complete freedom to make public all the details of this massive fraud committed by the government of Ranil Wickremesinghe. If there is anyone capable, come for a debate with me. I challenge Mahinda Rajapaksa for a debate. I challenge D.W. Gunasekara, Susil Premajanta, G.L. Piris, Veeravansa, Bandulu Gunawardena and even Lokuge to come for a debate. If they want, they can send 10 persons. I will come for the debate on any television channel. But no one will come. Some said that I obtained the enjoining order to conceal what had taken place. We withdrew the petition seeking the enjoining order. So now produce what you can.
A group including the leader of JVP, Anurukumara Dissanayake, called on the Mahanayakas of the Malwathu and Askeri chapters today.
JVP leader Anurukumara Dissanayake first called on the Mahanayaka of the Askeri chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Galagama Sri Attadasi Thera, and obtained blessings.
I was very happy. The truth must prevail in the present era. The truth should be spoken. You can win only if the truth is told as it is. First of all, I would like to extend my wishes for your party to clinch victory, not to govern, to remain in the opposition. The wrongs need to be pointed out. That is a greater task than engaging in governance.
Later, the group called on the Mahanayaka of the Malwathu chapter of the Siam sect and also obtained blessings.
Let's now have a listen to some of the views expressed by political party leaders.
You might have visited Kataragama back in the day. You might recall that during the journey, you witnessed innocent people who are in either side of road who sell pots and other sweets and vegetables. Now you see nothing like that. Now there are only concrete roads. No one knows what happened to those people. Even vehicles travel on those roads very rarely. You might be able to witness a monkey cross the road. There is no profit made by the shops located close to the port and the airport. Unless you are deceived to the bottle of arak, the sari, the bottle of ethanol, the mobile phone or the bicycle by the politician, they will not respect you. You must decide to vote for a more civilized politician no matter what party he belongs to.
We will bring before the law all those who were involved in the theft of lands in the past. All those persons who were involved in stealing state land from the district over the years will be held accountable. Not only that, if there is anyone who was forced away from his farmlands and those lands will later transfer to the henchmen, the land transfers and deeds will be made void and lands will be returned to the original owner. I wish to reiterate that.
Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Development Janaka Bandar Tennakun made an announcement that he will resign from his ministerial portfolio. He made this announcement at a press conference in Dambulla.
In Sri Lanka,
we accepted the ministerial positions as per the decisions that was taken up by the SLFP Central Working Committee. We hope that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party Central Working Committee would request us to step down, but it seems that would not take place. Therefore, as a member of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, I have decided to step down from my position. I have drafted the letter, and once the President accepts it, my job is done. Following the footsteps of his father, T.B. Thenakon, the former minister had drafted his letter of resignation in the manner of a poem.
Pawasan nemi janapatinduni mevakiya, sanasen nemi minisun mada itiyakiya, navatin nemi mele sakamanak natiya, piliganwami mage asvi me lipiya.
UNP Colombo District candidate Rosie Sena Nayaka convened a media briefing today.
Some of them who resigned from their post think that they could join the Mahinda wave in the hope of obtaining votes. Their view was that if they had resigned and I don't, the votes will be divided. That will not work this time around. There won't be any change even if they remain in their position or leave. They are resigning not because of a loss but because of a dire need to form a system to get votes. Why did you join if you wanted to resign? If so, you would have rejected long ago. Why are they resigning with the election just around the corner? There's only one reason. They did not realize what President Maithripala Sirisena realized.
Two supporters of UPFA general election candidate Veerakumara Disanayaka were arrested by the police for transporting posters in a vehicle bearing a number plate of the Sri Lankan Army. Veerakumara Disanayaka is a frontline member of the National Freedom Front, the party of former Minister Wimal Weerawansa.
This pickup truck transporting the posters of Veerakumara Disanayaka was taken into custody this morning in the Kongo Lava area in Kabitigo Lava. Police say that the pickup truck had a civilian number plate and Sri Lanka Army number plate. Police investigations have revealed that this pickup truck in fact does not belong to the Sri Lanka Army. Police has seized a pickup truck with over 4,500 posters that were to be pasted in the possessions of the two suspects. The number plate in the rear was one that shows it is from the Sri Lanka Army. However, it is a fake number plate. The two suspects are also not connected to the Sri Lanka Army.
සැකකරුවන් දෙදෙනාත් යුද හමුදාවට කිසිදු සම්බන්ධයක් නැති සැකකරුවන් දෙදෙනෙක් බවටයි මේ වන විට අනාවරණය වී තිබෙන්නේ.
යුද හමුදාව ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ආරක්ෂක යුතුන් මත ඒගොල්ලන්ටම සුවිශේෂ.
Because of security concerns, the three armed forces issue a unique series of number plates. These numbers are only used by the three armed forces for only their operations. They are not issued to any outsider. The army does not permit the use of it. If the number plate of a military unit is being used, they can take legal action against that. And since this is a fake number plate, the Sri Lanka police can also take legal action against that. When inquired, UPFA candidate Veerakumara Disanayaka said that the vehicle was obtained on rent.
Here are some of the views that were expressed in the political arena.
We came across the elections manifesto of the United National Party last evening. We can see that they have completely copied the Mahinda Chintana's vision for the future. A manifesto is a statement that will decide the future of the country. We remember the time when they asked us to vote for the country. Then they asked us to vote as a mark of gratitude. Now there is no reason to vote for him again. Now we tell him to expose the rogues. How many elections did you witness and how many promises you must have heard? Not even one of those promises were fulfilled. Our leader has promised to create 1 million employment opportunities and this electorate will benefit from that a lot. MPs from the UMP come on television and say that they have reduced prices of goods. Where is this reduction they speak of? The cost of living has increased by 7,500 rupees.
මේ ආණ්ඩුව මොකුත් කරලා නැහැලු. අපි ගොඩක් දේවල් කරේ නෑ.
They say this government has done nothing. Actually, we did not do something. We did not call the white vans. We did not commit murder. We did not bring in ethanol. We did not peddle drugs. However, we increased the state employees' wages, which Mahinda failed to do. He embraced children but failed to reduce the price of a packet of milk powder. But we did.
ඒ ගාන අඩු නොකරට අපි ඒක අඩු කරා.
දැන් ගිය ඡන්දෙට කලින් මේ නගරේ මේ වටේ දින
Before the elections, all the hotels in the city were normals. They said that the Shangri-La hotel was normals. The coconut estate was normals. Now, where are those things? Those who make these claims must now prove them. The oil storages at the Hambantota port are for sale. Back then, 22 flights reached Matala per week. Now, only 4 arrive per week. The chairs were taken to Colombo. Even the fire units were taken to Colombo. They used state property in their political rallies during the last election. Now, because they are not in government, they cannot use state property. As government ministers, we made a cabinet decision to pay a certain amount if we are utilizing state vehicles.
රජයේ වාහන නම් ඒකට අපි මුදලක් ගෙවිය යුතුයි කියලා. අපි සංවර්ධනයේ කෝටි ගාණක් උතුරට ගෙනිච්චා.
We spend millions for the development of the north. We also spend millions for the development of the east. But the reason as to why we were able to obtain their votes is because we did not implement a proper strategy to win their votes. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party should address this.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය හදාගත යුතුයි. මරණය දැක දැක අපි එළියට ආවේ.
We stepped out of the party, putting our lives at risk. All of them told us that even if he loses, he will not step down. I too did not say that he will leave. Do you all think that if there was a 50,000 or 100,000 difference in the number of votes, that he would have stepped down? No, he was always prepared for this. We saw how the government of good governance was formed. My dear friends, they could have never moved forward if ministers and provincial councillors from our party rendered their support to Ranil Wickremesinghe. That is why we are responsible for the good governance that took place, which led to the current status of the country. At one side, we all carried forward a national government. We all had vehicles. Every minister were given a driver and their fuel cost was also borne by the government. We sat on these benefits. But we did not take any other benefit apart from these. But after we returned, those who joined the UMP now joined us again. The two parties are talking as if they are all saints. Persons from the United National Party got together Mahinda Rajapaksa saying that they wanted to be a strength to him. Now those very same people who witnessed the triumph of Maithripala Sirisena are now trying to cross over to the other side again. They are crossing from one party and from that party to this party. Now what are they doing? They are pointing the others' mistakes and have split into two. Now they are rooting for the winning side. What is the meaning of this?
බඩගිනි හැදුනට ඉඳුල් නොකවු තනකොළ නොබුදුදි සිංහ පැටව එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ.
Even if the UMPers are hungry, they will not eat grass. A UMPer will never bend over for the rice packet, a glass of arak or a milk packet and buns.
එහෙම නැත්තම් කිරි පැකට් එකයි බනිස් ගෙඩියටයි නැමෙන්නෙත් නැහැ නමන්නත් බෑ.
හිඟා කන්න පටන් ගත්ත අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය ධූරය
People have started begging for the post of Prime Minister. You all must have witnessed the manner in which the king is taking part in this election with much vigor and strength. When he lost that power, he became enraged.
ජනතාව වෛරයට භාජනලා හැරෙන අතේ නෙලන්න ගියා ජනතාවට මම හිතන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ දකින්න ඇති. නඩු හතරක් නෙවෙයි.
Even if 7 or 8 cases are filed against us, even if we are sent to 10 prisons, we wish to tell this to those raising the green flag. If you obstruct our election campaign, you will face the consequences. I blame the educated and the intellectuals. Rather than doing their job, they handed over the duties to the persons who washes the dishes and later continued to blame them.
වලං හොදන මිනිහට මොලේ නැහැ කියලා බැන බැනින්න එක තමයි අපේ රටේ උගත්තු බුද්ධිමතු පහුගිය කාලේ කරේ.
There's no time to think. The gamble is taking place in our gardens.
මිදුලටම ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ සූදුව නරක වුණත් මිදුලට ආපු සූදුව අමුඩේ උකත් තියලා හරි කෙලපිය පිනෝ කියලා කිව්වලු පූර්ගස්සන එක. ඒ හින්දා මේ මිදුලට ආපු සූදුව දැන් අපි කෙලින්න ඕනේ.
The party supporter, who is said to be in the centre of the incident of an assault at a rally of the United People's Freedom Alliance in Akurasa, joined a press conference in Mathura today.
The media briefing was convened by UPFA Mathura district candidate Manoj Sirisena.
I was under the influence of alcohol on that day. I did not know what I was doing. After I saw him, I forgot where I was. He was waving his hand. Then I held his hand. Suddenly, there was a push from the back. I could not let go the hand. I don't recall anything about a ring because he wears rings.
We pushed him forward with the help of the PST personnel. Therefore, as the president was about to fall, his left hand inclined towards his body. He later stood up straight.
A fundamental rights petition was filed with the Supreme Court seeking that steps be taken to prevent injustice from taking place to candidates as a result of the excessive security that has been provided to former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The petition was filed by United Socialist Party National List candidate Attorney-at-Law Seneka Pereira.
6,651 candidates will be contesting the upcoming parliamentary election. The petitioner notes that former President Mahinda Rajapaksa is at an advantage owing to the additional security that he has been provided. The petitioner had therefore requested court to take measures to remove or curtail the security detail of the former president. When the petition was taken up before the bench of Chief Justice K. Sri Pavan Chandraekanayake and Upali Aberatne, State Counsel Mariam Pillay requested that the hearing be postponed as the respondents have not received the notices as yet. Thereby, the petition will be taken up once again on the 5th of August.
The ceremony organised to empower the National Youth Front was held at the UNP headquarters today.
The youth who gathered at the UNP headquarters, Sirikota, for the inaugural ceremony were presented with the National Youth Front wristbands. We know the kind of development that this country had over the recent past. Mahinda Rajapaksa's administration had brought futile development that had no effect on the country. We saw unnecessary China-funded projects being undertaken in the country. We saw an ineffective port being built in Hambantota and an airport in Matala. We are planning on undertaking development activities after investing in projects after obtaining loans from the international community through discussions. We are hoping to bring a revolutionary change within Parliament. Therefore, we will provide a favourable economy to the people within the 5-year period.
Convening a press conference, the United People's Freedom Alliance criticized the election manifesto of the United National Party.
What they have done is they have used the psychological aspects of the Panchashila under the guise of this 5-point plan. This is the work of Ranavaka. They do not mention 5 years, but they say 60 months. What they have showed the people is the trailer and not the entire movie. When the movie is released, you will see how bad it is. A trailer needs to have best parts of the movie, but this trailer is a bankrupt one. After the 17th, they will have to stop playing this movie.
It was said that 6% of the GDP will be directed towards education. There was a campaign on Facebook where all university lecturers, professors, teachers and students use their images as a display picture. We wish to ask, did they receive 6%? Do not be deceived by these statements.
The fundamental rights petition that was filed by former MP Sajin Divas Gunawardena was with the Supreme Court challenging his arrest and placing him under remand custody was rejected by the Supreme Court today. The petition was rejected by the bench comprising Chief Justice K. Sri Pavan Chandraekanayake and Upali Aberatne after a legal debate that lasted for over 2 hours.
President's Counsel Manohara De Silva, who appeared on behalf of Gunawardena, pointed out that there was no evidence against his client. In response, Additional Solicitor General President's Counsel Yasantha Kodagoda said that when the vehicles that belonged to the Presidential Secretariat were looked into, Vas Gunawardena had 15 of those vehicles with him. The Additional Solicitor General added that Gunawardena was charged with wrongful use and breach of trust. Courts which considered the facts presented by both parties decided to reject the petition, citing that there was no reason to take up the petition as fundamental rights have not been violated.
Certificates were presented to over 100 recipients as part of a program conducted by the SCC to uplift securities and financial services of the industry. Here are some of the views that were expressed at the event.
I am disappointed that we have still not made sufficient progress in making sure that we have done the expected job in dealing with those people who acted in ways that contravene the Securities and Exchange Commission's Act. What happened to those who breached that act? Where are the files, cases filed against these people? You will see in our manifesto that we are going to merge the Provident Fund with the Trust Fund, and we will create a bigger fund, and also the management of that fund will not be the same as it is being done at the moment. The new entity will certainly be owned by the government, but there will be certain changes in the way it is managed, and the combined fund will be responsible directly to Parliament, and those who sit on their boards will have to be those with the concurrence of the Constitutional Council.
Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Financial literacy entails correct attitudes and behavior. Remember that investor confidence suffers and the financial system may collapse if we deter professionalism in terms of knowledge and integrity. We should not forget what happened during 2010-2012 period in the capital market. The SEC is entrusted with the profound duty of safeguarding the interest of the investors, especially minority investors. This gives us the mandate to ensure that industry participants maintain utmost integrity in the market.
Ken Siegel, the former creative director of Apple, shared insights on the ultimate competitive weapon, simplicity, in Colombo this morning.
The Think Different creative director is in Sri Lanka to share what he calls the obsession that drives Apple's success.
If a company's leader isn't going to take take it on as a personal mission, then someone has to, and the authority can be delegated. The bottom line is it takes effort and serious work, as we were saying that being simple isn't simple. Someone has to really care about it and get over the impression or the assumption that many people have is that simplicity is common sense, and therefore we don't really need to drill that into people's heads. I think people should be rewarded for thinking in ways that simplify the way the company works internally or the way it presents itself to the public. So to me, there's incentivizing people to contribute is an important thing. The great thing about simplicity is that you never find any resistance.